if you win, be the counterbalance to the AOCs of the House of the House of Representatives. Hispanic, she's Hispanic, and there's a lot of similarities with respective ideologies. But how do you see that? Could you see yourself as being a counterbalance, or maybe even Veronica Escobar, who was just down the street in El Paso?
That's right. Ellas no nos representan aquí en el Valle. They do not represent us. They do not represent the Hispanic community. They represent the Democrat Party, not the Hispanic community. Again, we're all about God, life, and family. They don't stand for those values. If they go and ask their abuelitas, if abuelita, usted apoya el aborto, abuelita, do you support abortion? I guarantee you that abuelita will get very upset. That is not how we were raised. We were raised to always defend life, and they're not fighting for the values that they were raised. I know that they were raised better, but they're abandoning their values. They're abandoning their culture over a political party. I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to forget how I was raised. I'm not willing to forget my culture and my background for a political party, and I stand strong with that.
All right, guys, so the red wave is coming. I meant the red tsunami is coming, because that is what it looks like is going to happen in the midterms if this special election is any indication of what we're going to see. Okay, as history has been made. And I'm going to tell you, this is history that Democrats would love if it benefited them. But this is history they don't really like, okay? As a Mexican-born Latina woman flipped a deep blue House seat in South Texas to GOP for the first time in 150 years.
To many, the vote is about politics. But for me, it's about my life. I'm Mayra Flores. I was born in Burgos, Tamaulipas, Mexico. Now I am living my American dream. But liberal policies from Washington are tearing our community apart. As the wife of a Border Patrol agent, I pray for his safety now more than ever. I'm Mayra Flores, and I approve this message because we must secure our borders and keep our families safe.
First tonight, special election results are in, and Mayra Flores has won Congressional District 34.
CBS 4's Iris Karami joins us with more on the results from Flores' watch party. Iris.
Thank you, Chris. We are live here at Mayra Flores' watch party, where the Republican candidate for Congressional District 34 is celebrating following her congressional win tonight. I spoke with her earlier tonight, where she shared her thoughts about her candidacy.
I see the potential in us. We have all the ingredients to be successful, and I just want to bring better jobs, better opportunities, so our children don't have to leave South Texas for those opportunities. Why can't we have that here? And I just think that we're worth fighting for.
Now, Flores has garnered over 50% of the vote, meaning she will now assume former Representative Filemon Vela's seat. She would only hold this seat until January. For the latest on this race, you can head over to valleycentral.com. Working for you here in San Benito, I'm Iris Karami.
Yeah, so again, historic victory here. Historic victory, okay? And let's check in on the mainstream liberal media's reaction to this, as they obviously were not happy about this victory, even though you would think that they would be celebrating this because she is a Mexican-born congresswoman, right? You know, Democrats, you know, they supposed to be celebrating diversity and, you know, first times. But for whatever reason, again, they're going to be silent about this. They're going to pretend like, you know, hey, this isn't anything to celebrate. The same thing they kind of did with Winston Sears. But let's check in on them and their reaction to this.
84% Hispanic population in that district. Hillary Clinton won this district huge. Barack Obama won this district huge. Biden, it was a narrow victory for him. You can see in terms of like larger macro political issues right now going on in this country, to me tonight, Texas 34, the movement of Hispanic voters towards the Republican Party in that part of Texas, to me is one of the biggest stories of the night. I know it's not quite final yet, but it's a big deal.
What do you make of that? Do you see a trouncing, Kirsten? I think Scott is indicating that there's going to be a trouncing of Democrats come midterms. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think that is sort of the expectation.
Well, I think that is sort of the expectation, right? Like, no S. Of course, there's going to be a trouncing, right? But again, they don't really have all that much to say about this because they're disappointed, right? They're sad about it. They know that the writing is on the wall here, okay? You have a Mexican-born Latino woman that flips a deep blue district red for the first time in 150 years. Again, that is a strong indication that the Democrats are on the way out. People are fed up with their nonsense. And I'm going to tell you something. What's funny is that I noticed when it comes to Miss Flores' campaign ads, what did she run on? She ran on the border, right? And securing our border. She ran on drugs and crime. But according to Democrats, that's racist, right? Talking about those things are racist. But here you are, a Mexican-born Latino woman running on issues that Democrats claim are racist. And guess what? Her 80+% Hispanic district said, you know what? We're going to vote for her, right? That is what we're concerned about. Versus the Democrats and her opponent, he ran on, well, she's friends with Trump and all the insurrectionists and the white supremacists. That's literally what he ran on, right? And the, again, primarily Hispanic community said, I don't really care about that. I don't give a damn about that. Okay, I care about the real issues. Again, the Democrats and their January 6th stuff and their, everything that we don't agree with is racist. And, you know, she's the Mexican face of white supremacy. She's been supported by white supremacists and, you know, she's friends with Trump. That stuff is not going to work because there's no substance to it. People don't care about that when they're experiencing an inflation crisis, a gas price crisis, a border crisis, a crime crisis. When you experience all these crises, these real issues that are affecting people in their everyday lives, people don't care about January 6th, identity politics. They don't care about that stuff. What they care about is the substance. And I think this election right here proves that because that's what she ran on. She ran on substance. Her opponent ran on, well, she's friends with Trump, right? And look how that worked out for them. Again, Democrats are heading for a shellacking. Okay, I don't know who these Democrat strategists are, but they should all be fired, right? They should all be fired, okay? Because they're just doing a terrible job. So that being said, let's read about this because again, this is something to really celebrate as it indicates that Democrats are going to get blown out, okay, in the midterms. Republican Mayra Flores has flipped a U.S. House seat in deep blue South Texas in what is a likely indicator of the incoming red tsunami that could hit the Democrat Party this fall during the midterm elections. Flores beat Democrat DeSantis in the special election for Texas 34th Congressional District. The seat was previously held by Rep. Philemon Vela, who stepped down early this year to become a lobbyist as all signs pointed to a brutal upcoming midterm election season for Democrats. Now, here's the thing. It's one thing to see the polls, right? To see Biden's low approval rating, to see the Democrats' low approval rating. It's another thing when people actually vote, right? They actually see, okay, wow, people actually went out here in a deep blue district and voted for the Republican. Again, that is, in my opinion, a very, very, very bad sign for the Democrats, okay? This is what makes me very excited when it comes to news like this. Flores is now, quote, the first GOP candidate to represent that area of the Rio Grande Valley since 1870, the Houston Chronicle reported, adding that she is now, quote, the first congresswoman born in Mexico. Dave Wasserman, U.S. House editor of the nonpartisan Cook Political Report, tweeted, quote, I've seen enough. Mayra Flores defeats DeSantis in the Texas 34 special election, flipping an 84% Hispanic Rio Grande Valley seat red. Again, this is a district that Democrats historically has had a strong hold over, right? Biden won it by 13. Hillary won it by 33 points. So, I mean, again, this is a bad sign. The region has been devastated by Democrat President Joe Biden's border crisis, something that has turned off many Hispanic voters that typically have voted for Democrats in the past. Quote, Republicans have been eager to flip the seat as part of their new offensive in South Texas after Biden's underperformance throughout the predominantly Hispanic region in the 2020 election. Flores and her allies spent over $1 million on TV ads in the special election, the Texas Tribune reported. The dynamic put Democrats into an unusual underdog position in a region of the state they have long dominated. Vastly outspent by Flores, Sanchez repeatedly compared the special election to a David versus Goliath fight, with himself playing David. I mean, that's kind of BS, right? That's kind of BS because, again, this is a historically blue district. If anything, she's David and you're Goliath. You don't need to raise that much money considering how most of the Hispanics in that region historically have voted Democrat, okay? But again, the writing is on the wall here in regards to what's happening in this country. And one thing I do respect about Latinos and the Hispanic community that, again, is different from black folks is that they're actually willing to vote for the other party if the party that they typically vote for aren't doing their jobs, okay? Hispanics are like, hey, you know what? We're going to go with a party that actually aligns with our values. We're going to go with a party that, you know, at least under the last president, the economy wasn't, the way it is right now. Black folks, on the other hand, Democrats, all they got to do is come out here and say, oh, the Republicans are racist. And they just fall in line, right? And this is why some of these inner cities, you got some of these candidates running, trying to flip these districts red. And it's like, it's a waste of money, right? When you should be focusing on people that actually are going to change their votes, right? That actually aren't just married to one political party, right? So again, watch how the Democrats all of a sudden now are going to start pandering super hard to the Latino community. And they might stop using the term Latinx, right? They might stop using that. They're going to start pandering super hard. Well, why is that? Because they know that, okay, Hispanics can be flipped, right? If anybody's ever traveled to one of these Latin American countries, right, particularly in South America, you already know, like, Hispanics are very socially conservative, very socially conservative. Now, the culture's a little bit different. They allow stuff down there that is not allowed in the U.S. But again, they're still very socially conservative. And lo and behold, again, unlike black people who are socially conservative as well, too, to a certain extent, they actually will vote on that stuff, right? They'll vote on that stuff. Which, again, that's why I kind of respect their voting habits, right? MSNBC columnist Eric Michael Garcia panicked over the results of the election, saying that Democrats needed to be sounding the alarm immediately. Quote, there's a political earthquake happening in Latino politics in South Texas, and there is a reason I've been saying it will be voting like West Virginia. He tweeted, quote, but like Sean Trende, I expected this in 2 decades. Texas 34. This should be a 5-alarm fire for Democrats. Facts. It should be. Right? As we have another guy here, okay, whom historically is a Democrat voter, who now is openly saying he's voting Republican. And in fact, he says that he voted for Mayra Flores with his first ever Republican vote in the Texas primary. And he also said that he plans to come out here and vote for Ron DeSantis in 2024, right? If Ron DeSantis runs for president, Elon Musk is saying, yeah, I support that guy, right? Again, this is a guy that voted for Andrew Yang last time, right? Which again goes to show this is just another moderate who typically votes Democrat. Like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to give these GOP guys a try. I'm going to give these GOP guys a try, okay? And him endorsing Ron DeSantis is a strong indicator that when it comes to moderates in this country, whom don't really like the Democrat Party right now, Ron DeSantis could be the GOP's best chance of winning over the moderates. I'm just being real. Because, guys, I like Trump, right? Just like a lot of you guys like Trump. But I would be lying to you if I told you that Ron DeSantis didn't have a much broader appeal when it comes to moderate voters in this country than Trump does, right? I mean, I think just objectively speaking, I mean, Ron DeSantis governs a purple state, right? Florida's a purple state historically. And I think that he's going to win in a landslide, okay, the next election. I think that he's doing a great job down there. I think he's led the way in terms of the GOP being able to not only just satisfy the base, but also win over some Democrats and moderates as well. And I think he does a much better job of doing that than Trump does. I think that's just the reality of the situation. Now, can he beat Trump in a Republican primary? Highly doubtful, right? But who knows? I'm just saying, when it comes to winning over those moderate voters, I think Ron DeSantis probably is the best guy for the job. However, with how bad Biden's doing, that might not even be necessary, because I still think that Trump could beat Biden. If an election was held today, I think Trump would beat Biden, right? So again, I'm just saying that Elon Musk being a moderate and somebody that I think does represent moderate America, him coming out here and endorsing Ron DeSantis along with this deep blue district in South Texas flipping red is a bad sign for the Democrats and a great sign for America. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.